So 3-2-1 is our way of kind of understanding life according to Jesus, and it's about the threeness of God. We've just talked about the threeness of God. And it's about the two-ness of the world, that Jesus is the second Adam. And just as Adam represents life as it is, in all its fallenness and its frustration and its death, so Jesus is the second Adam, who represents life as it's meant to be, the kind of life that God lives, the spirit-filled life. So Jesus is the second Adam, that's the two. So 3, 2, and then 1, we are one with Jesus when we come to him by faith. But as soon as you come to Jesus, you are not only one with Jesus, you're also one with all the other people who are one with Jesus. And so union with Christ also means being united to church. Jesus has united himself to us so closely, he's like a head and we're like the body. And the Bible unpacks that in so many different ways, that we are like branches that are grafted into the great vine who is Jesus. That's John chapter 15. Or we're like members of a body all together. So 1 Corinthians 12 talks about that. And as soon as you speak in those terms, you realize how ridiculous it would be to think about a branch all by itself. Imagine there's somebody who just says, "Oh, I'm one with Jesus. It's just me and him." You're like, that's a really weird vine, right? And if you're not in connection with others, you're just kind of a branch by yourself, which doesn't make sense. Or if you're a solo Christian, it's like saying, I'm like a pinky, all by myself. You're like, well, where's the rest of the body? And how are you connected to the body? Or the other great analogy of what the church is like, we're like brothers and sisters. But if you're just all by yourself, you're sort of like this solo orphan child with no siblings. No, you're meant to be part of a family. And you miss out when you're not part of church. And church misses out when you're not part of church. So I think there's just an organic unity between Christ and church, and we cannot really have a solo Christianity. We've got to come to Christ, yes, but as soon as we come to Christ, we're also coming to church. And that's why in 3-2-1, we don't just call you to follow Jesus all by yourself, and we don't just call you to make a prayer of commitment, and we don't just call you to a life of you and Jesus against the world. We call you to your brothers and sisters in the family. We call you to be grafted into the great vine. We call you to be members in a body. And we don't think that's a bad thing. Actually, when you encounter life in the body, you encounter life the way it's meant to be lived. And we think that's a beautiful thing. So come on home to church.
Yeah, I love that.